as I lift my eyes to you. No. Are we recording? Hey guys, welcome to Homegroup lesson for this week. I'm excited to join you guys as we continue the new series that we recently started. Our brother Alex started this series. It's called Walking with Christ. And we're going to be talking just for the next few weeks on what it means to walk in a daily relationship with Christ. So this is going to be lesson number 2 for this series, and we're going to be covering what it means to walk by faith. I want us to turn our Bibles to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. And here God's word says, "Without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." So the Bible tells us that if we're gonna walk with God, if we're gonna walk into his will, we need to have this thing called faith. So as a group, I want you guys to come together and just discuss this simple yet huge question for our faith and our belief. What is faith? What does it mean to walk in faith? Please turn together and just discuss this question. So I hope you guys see just how important having faith in our relationship with God is. The Bible, just if you research it and go deep into studying the Bible, we see that there's about over 5,000 promises that God makes to his people or to the world. And I just want to tell you that faith is what unlocks these promises into our life. I remember one time just spending time with God and him just telling me that there is great faith in my presence. And I just want to tell you that how we could grow in our faith and how we could grow in our trust in God is by spending time with him. Just a small example from my life is that a lot of times at my work, what I do for work, I have to oftentimes have people do certain tasks or things. And some people, when you tell them to do something, they follow through with it and they get it done and they stick to their word, they stick to their schedule, they stick to their promise. Other people, when they promise you something and you come back the next day or a week later, those things that they promised are not done. So just the same thing with God. When we spend time with him and when we get to know him more and more, we see that God does not fail, that God does not change, that his promises for us are everlasting. And just getting to know God more and more, our faith begins to naturally grow. So the next question I want us to cover is going to be along the lines of the promises that God has for us. We read in the Bible all these promises, and I want you as a group to come together and discuss that. Why are some of God's promises based on conditions? Why are some of God's promises only unlocked into our life based on certain conditions? If you can come together and discuss this question. And in conclusion, I just want to share with you guys the story of Gideon. It's found in Judges chapter 6 through 8. There was just a young man in the smallest town of Israel during the time where Israel was held in captivity, and they were facing very big battles, and they were being enslaved by the different people called the Midianites. And an angel or God himself appeared to Gideon, and he said that I'm calling you into my will. I'm calling you and I'm giving you these promises that you're gonna conquer the enemy, and you're gonna lead the people of Israel. And during that time, in the situation that Gideon was in, he had no just faith. He just doubted God and said, how could this be? I'm the smallest person in the smallest tribe of this weak country called Israel who's in captivity right now. But God said, look, I'm giving you my word. I'm going to be with you, and I'm calling you into these things. And if you study these chapters, you see the process that Gideon goes through when he begins to take these steps in faith to follow after God, and you see that the promises that God spoke into Gideon's life, you see them begin to be fulfilled. So as a group, I want you guys to study this story and just see what are the steps, what are the reasons why Gideon saw these promises fulfilled, and how was he able to trust God in his hard circumstance. And also, I want you guys to share testimonies of where you saw God's promises for your own life fulfilled. So God bless you guys, and thanks for tuning in for Home Group discussion this week.